you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about?
You see, Mr. Powers, I love gold.
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Long time no see. I do hope you'll forgive my brief absence. Weekly time allocation has recently changed. The time has come for me to re-enter the workforce, and these interview processes take a lot of prep time. So believe me when I say this, it's not you, it's me. I love having this fun creative outlet to talk about whatever the hell I want. However, I went to pay our rent last month and the options were cash, credit card, or bank account. Fun creative outlet was not listed. So, in light of that change, I will continue to bring you hard-hitting DFW sports commentary. However, it will be on a once-per-week cadence instead of twice per week for the time being. But don't you worry, I will fully refund your subscription fees. Anyhow, welcome back to the Crow House. I am Cameron Odom, coming to you on a Tuesday? Don't expect a ton of Tuesday drops. I'm thinking we'll be coming to you every Monday going forward. We have a ton to get caught up on. On today's show, we'll review the massive hardware our men's and women's hockey teams hauled back to the States from Italy. We have Cowboys contract news. And our new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, breaks his silence. Pardon the noise for a moment while I drum up some business. This episode is brought to you by all the hiring managers that have sent me lucrative offers.
We offered them the job.
We are open for business. If you're interested in advertising right here in this spot, or if you're in need of a business-to-business account manager, hit me up at crowhousemediatx@gmail.com and let's stimulate this market. It's a party in the USA as both the men and women's Olympic ice hockey teams took down rival Canada in overtime thrillers to win gold at the 2026 Winter Olympics. Looking first at the women's team, the ladies trailed Canada 1-0 with just over 2 minutes left in regulation. The USA pulled their goalie to get an extra attacker, and Hillary Knight gets a Joe Pavelski-esque tip-in to equalize the contest late. We headed to overtime, where Megan Keller dangled her way into the crease. She came in forehand, she goes backhand, she goes 5-hole, and she nets the golden goal. This US women's team steamrolled their way through the tournament, but they were able to stand tall at the first sign of adversity. Vengeance is served from the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing as the gals in red, white, and blue set the bar as high as it could be set for the men's team. And for the men's gold medal match, we set our alarms for early Sunday morning for a 7 a.m. puck drop. This game started at a blistering pace for both teams, but Matt Boldy gets on the board first for the USA on a play where he flipped the puck into the Canada zone, tipped it to himself while the puck was in midair. He cuts through the Canadian defense, he dekes right, he shoots left, and the USA takes a 1-0 lead into the first intermission. Cale Makar ties it up in the second period on a wrister from the right face-off circle. He goes far side past the stick of Connor Hellebuyck, and from this point on, Canada taking the lead felt inevitable. The fact that they didn't take the lead felt impossible. They had several looks at a gaping US net, and either one of two things happened. Either the shooter completely missed the net, sorry not sorry Nate McKinnon, or Connor Hellebuyck stood on his head to make a Herculean stop. I'm serious. I've never witnessed a goalie taking over and keeping a team in a game the way he did. The stop he made against Javonte Williams with the handle of his stick will go down in history as the greatest save in a gold medal match. He was absolutely brilliant. He saved 41 of 42 total shots against a juggernaut Canadian team. Canada had so many high danger chances and they just couldn't put this one away. The fact this game made it to OT was a miracle in and of itself. So we reach overtime. Zach Werenski tried passing the puck to Jack Hughes in their own zone. The puck barely got to him and it was almost intercepted by Cale Makar. Jack Hughes took a risky swipe at the puck with one hand on the stick to sweep the puck out to neutral ice. The puck made its way back to Zach Werenski in the Canada zone and the US had a 3-on-2 advantage. Werenski puts the puck right into Jack Hughes' wheelhouse. He fires the puck right as Jordan Bennington was sliding to the left, and the joint absolutely exploded. Helmets and gloves and sticks rained down, and the USA men win their third ever Olympic gold medal. This was by no means a miracle on ice or a David versus Goliath scenario, but it did feel pre-tournament that this was Canada's gold to lose. And they did just that, eh? The feeling of pure jubilation and tears of joy quickly turned into tears of sadness and reflection as Austin Matthews and Matthew Tkachuk skated around the number 13 jersey of Johnny Gaudreau, who tragically passed away in August of 2024 after he and his brother were struck on their bikes by a drunk driver. The tears then flowed again during the team photo when the team brought Johnny's young children onto the ice to take pictures and celebrate with the team. What a beautiful moment in a day full of moments that we'll remember for a lifetime. One of those moments I quite enjoyed was watching the Canadian players having to accept stuffies with looks of absolute dejection on their faces. By the time it was all said and done, 6 out of 7 of the Dallas Stars that participated earned Olympic medals. Finland defeated Slovakia in the bronze medal match. But it's not all great news on the Finnish front. Mikko Rantanen has been placed on IR with a lower body injury. He's expected to miss at least 2 weeks, and the Stars are also without Radek Faksa as he heads to IR. Dallas returns to action on Wednesday night. They will face the Seattle Kraken at home. Jake Ottinger will suit up Wednesday night, but he'll be backing up Casey DeSmith as he ramps back up to playing form. Now let's head to Arlington or Frisco or wherever the Dallas Cowboys are from anyways. There will be no bargain bin running back shopping for the Cowboys this season as they have reached an extension with Javonte Williams. It's a 3-year deal for Javonte worth up to $24 million. $16 million is guaranteed, so it's really a 2-year deal. Since when does Dallas get contract extensions done this early? And when's the last time the Cowboys have extended a running back? Zeke? They let Tony Pollard walk. They let Rico Dowdle walk. And Javonte was a lottery ticket last year. Coming off of a lackluster ending to his injury-plagued rookie deal with Denver, he played on a 1-year, $3 million contract last season. Oh, but did it ever pay off for both him and Dallas? Williams rushed for a career-high 1,201 yards and scored a career-high 11 rushing touchdowns and added 2 more touchdowns through the air. My knee-jerk reaction was that this was a slight overpay. I think maybe he feels older than he actually is because of the knee injury in Denver, but now he's locked in for at least his age 26 and age 27 seasons. We live in a world where the Cowboys could have dragged their ass on this, and we ended up with a Tyler Algier or a Brian Robinson as our RB1. Javonte provides a solid floor, assuming health, and maybe a year of continuity with Clayton Adams' scheme will only improve his game. So at the end of the day, I'm good with it. Let's ride. The Cowboys also held a press conference to introduce newly hired defensive coordinator Christian Parker last week. Notably not there to feed us a bunch of BS were Jerry and Stephen Jones. I don't know if this signals that Shoddy is calling the shotties, but this was a welcome change in my opinion. This was about a 40-minute press conference. I cut what I thought were the most interesting parts so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. Right off the bat.
Every impression we had with CP was just left us wanting more. Just every time we spent time with CP, it became very clear that he was the guy for the job.
But what stood out about CP that put him at the top of the list?
You couldn't find anybody to say anything bad about CP.
Guys, we're not rolling with CP. They're gonna have to come up with something else. Before this press conference, I hadn't heard CP speak before. I was very impressed with his poise and confidence in this press conference. I think he said all the right things. He and 7 other coaches are in their first year here in Dallas.
Christian, Todd Archer with ESPN. How ready are you for this?
I'm ready. Yeah, well, I think it starts with the coaches that we hired. You know, have a lot of confidence in Derek Ansley, Ryan Smith, and Rob Muschamp in the secondary.
My gripe with the last regime and Matt Eberflus was that he tried cramming what we had on our roster into his scheme. He was pretty inflexible. I didn't feel like Eberflus really tried to change the scheme until we traded for Quinn and Williams. And even then, they stopped blitzing again and just kept rolling out the same strategy over and over. I don't feel like we're going to see that with Christian Parker.
Yeah, well, the first thing is we're going to be multiple. I think that whenever you form a defensive structure, it's about the players that you have. But I would say being multiple is probably the most important thing about it. You definitely have a mentality as a play caller, but I think that it's still going to be designed around the players that you have. Yeah, I mean, the game is definitely won and lost up front. We have significant players in the front 7. And so I think that when you start with that defensive line room and what you're able to do in controlling the pocket, stopping the run, you control what an offense is able to do and you're able to dictate to them on their terms. So you're not playing the whole playbook when you win first and second down. So I think it starts there. That's where the excitement starts. Like I said earlier, the defensive line and winning the game up front is significant. So how we can change the math and get our best players on the field will always be a part of what we do.
That's so refreshing to hear. I do feel that the Cowboys defense will actually change tactically week to week. Our defensive front really is the only position of strength on defense, so I'm excited to see what he can do with Q and Osa and Kenny Clark. Parker's background is as a DB's coach. The Cowboys will likely add at least one cornerback in the draft. I am curious to see how they plan on addressing safety if Caleb Downs is not available at number 12. But Christian Parker has had a hand in developing some household names on defense.
His ability to develop players is very obvious. You look at what he did in Denver, involved with Surtain, and you look at what they did in Philadelphia, obviously, with Cooper DeJean and Mitchell and guys like that. He's done it.
I know it's early, but I am shaking in my boots with anticipation to see what they can accomplish.
You know, but I think the really good players are the ones that you can't peg them.
Yo, what the fuck? That'll do it for this week. Thanks again for tuning in. Your patronage is greatly appreciated. I'll be back on Monday with some more of whatever this is. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and we'll talk soon. Peace out.